This is Optimal Health Daily, episode 238. I don't hate cardio. And Check Engine by Neghar Fonooni of negharfonooni.com. And I'm Dr. Neil Malik, your narrator of blogs covering health and fitness. I read to you from some of the most popular blogs out there, with author permission, of course. And if you didn't know already, there are 4 other podcasts where we read you blogs. So if you like the premise of this show, definitely check those out too. You could subscribe to them in the same place you're hearing this show by searching for Optimal Living Daily. Now, yesterday in episode 237, at the end, I was mentioning pushing through and finding that inspiration for you to help get through those moments in life when you just want to quit. And I mentioned students just pushing through, finishing that degree. And I thought about it after I recorded that show. Well, where did that come from? Well, no duh. It's finals week this week for my students. And just last week, I could see it in their eyes. They were so burnt out. They've been working so hard all year long, and they just can't wait for summer break. And so I think I channeled them in my discussion yesterday from Leo Babauta's post when I talked about just push through, you'll get through it, and it's so worth it once you're done. Today, I'm going to have a couple of inspirational quotes for you, but I'm actually going to save them until the end. I'm going to start with 2 shorter posts that I'll be reading from Miss Fonooni, so it's kind of the opposite of the last 2 episodes. But I'm sure you're eager to hear them, so let's get right into it as we optimize your life. I Don't Hate Cardio by Neghar Fonooni of negharfonooni.com. I have a meathead confession to make. Contrary to popular opinion in the strength world, I actually love cardio. I know it's really in vogue to hate on cardio in favor of lifting weights, but I just don't care. I like to sweat. I like to feel my lungs burn. I like feeling fast and moving my body in different, challenging ways. I hike in the Santa Monica Mountains at least once a week, do hill sprints, and sometimes run a few miles on the beach. I enjoy doing high-intensity intervals on the stair machine in my apartment gym and crushing metabolic workouts in the Deuce Yard. I think somewhere along the way, it became necessary for strength coaches and enthusiasts to lambaste cardio, and I get it. We're coming off the heels of a period of time when cardio reigned supreme. Many felt largely intimidated by weights and uncomfortable in traditionally male or experience-dominated spaces. Rather than lifting weights, you'd likely find us tolling away on cardio machines or pounding the pavement in hopes of aesthetic and athletic change. But you know what? That's over. We are over all of that. Isn't that amazing? We wrote all the articles and filmed all the videos and spread all the strength training propaganda. We won. Do we still have battles to win when it comes to folks' bodies and how they're perceived and controlled? Yes, we do, but the cardio battle is a wrap. Let's call it. We don't have to bash cardio to elevate the importance of strength training, just like we don't need to skinny shame in an effort to promote body positivity. It really doesn't have to be so black and white, because at the end of the day, how we approach our own fitness is wholly individual. We could sit around arguing about the, quote, best methods for fitness, fat loss, and strength, or we can affirm this universal truth. The best type of fitness is the kind you'll commit to, and that usually means you have to enjoy it. It's not exactly that simple, but also kind of is. This year, I'll have been in the fitness industry, 17, can't believe it, 17 years, and I've done my fair share of bashing in the past. I've been a fitness snob, and I felt my methods superior to others. I've rolled my eyes at people doing ridiculous things in the gym and cringed at badly executed kettlebell swings. What I've learned as I've grown as a coach is that none of that actually helps people. What truly impacts change and enriches lives is having the freedom to explore your body, and the permission to do that in a way that feels enjoyable and feasible. I'm in the movement biz because I truly believe that regular movement is absolutely crucial to mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual health. I do this work because I want to help folks come into their power and feel at home in their bodies. I'm no longer in the business of shaming people for what type of fitness methods they choose, and I'm wholly uninterested in being a, quote, gym elitist. So yeah, I'm a meathead, but I also love cardio. Some days I lift. Some days I do cardio. Some days I do yoga. Some days I dance or hike or sip margaritas by the pool. But what I see in every day is an opportunity to honor my body with movement, a chance to move with gratitude, and for the ability to do so at all. Check Engine by Neghar Fonooni of negharfonooni.com. I realized today as I was driving to work that I take better care of my body than I do of my car. Every time I turn my car on, it tells me to, quote, perform service, and I basically just ignore it because I don't have the time or motivation right now to tend to it. I know it's probably not a good idea to drive it to and from work every day, knowing it has significant issues, but I just can't be bothered with it right now. Before you start thinking how stupid and irresponsible that is, ponder this. Is it more reckless to ignore the check engine light in your car or in your body? And how many people do you think take better care of their replaceable vehicles than their own irreplaceable bodies? If you took a look at my car right now, you'd think I was a complete slob. Not only is it dirty, but the floors are cluttered with toys, reusable grocery bags, and random objects. I almost always have a trash stash in the side of the door since I seem to constantly eat protein bars on the go. I never really addressed the bird egg that fell on my hood, other than to briefly clean it off, and I'm pretty sure there's something significantly wrong with the alignment. Now, obviously, I know the sad state of my vehicle is nothing to be proud of. I'm a little ashamed, I must admit. But if my knee started acting up, or my shoulder didn't feel right, I would immediately tend to it. I would never treat my body the way I treat my car. My body is a powerful machine that needs regular care and maintenance, much like my car. The difference between my body and my car is that I only have one body. Once it's broken, it's much harder, more painful, and more expensive to fix. We can ignore the check engine light on our car, and yes, we'll likely get into some trouble. But if we ignore the check engine light on our body for long enough, it's game over, forever. You just listened to the posts titled, I Don't Hate Cardio, and Check Engine, both by Neghar Fonooni of negharfonooni.com. So I'm going to finish Ms. Fonooni's thoughts with two quotes. The first, quote, time and health are two precious assets that we don't recognize and appreciate until they have been depleted. Dennis Waitley. The second quote also comes from a very wise person. Quote, I don't argue with the body, Jerry. That's an argument you can't win. Cosmo Kramer. To continue with Ms. Fonooni's car analogy, many of us will put the optimal fuel in our cars, 91, even 93 octane. But when it comes to fueling our body, we'll settle for the cheapest, most convenient form of fuel we can find. Fast food, candy, soda, donuts, you name it. So I love her car analogy because it's actually something I've used in practice with patients. The other thing I'll tell folks is, before you eat something, ask yourself this question. Would I feed this same thing to a loved one, to someone else? This is usually an eye-opening experience for people because when they think of how they treat themselves and their bodies, they realize they would never, ever do this to someone else. So what is it? Why would you do that to yourself? Sometimes you'll get a very emotional response, and that's okay, because sometimes that helps people wake up. And again, I'm not any better than anyone else. This was something I used to do to myself too. I get it. But sometimes we need that wake-up call. For me, it was a chronic disease, unfortunately. And when Ms. Fonooni talked about being a gym elitist, oh my gosh, that had totally been me. I was totally one of those who would, while training clients, be just shaking my head or rolling my eyes at people doing exercises that I felt were not going to help them. Such a waste of my time and energy. It's totally not about that. And it does take time to get to that point where you realize, hey, you know what? They're here at the gym and they're trying to get themselves better. Awesome. If they're doing something that I feel is a waste of time, who cares? They're moving. I do care a little bit more about form because people can get injured. But even so, if it looks like they're having a good time and they feel like they're getting results, you know what? Let them have it. That's fantastic. I don't need to go over there and teach them and show them that I'm a know-it-all. Now, a little reminder. If you like this show, you'll definitely love the other 4 podcasts in our family. They're similar in that they read to you from popular blogs, but from other topics. We'd love it if you show some support for those shows too. You can simply search for Optimal Living Daily in the same place you're hearing this podcast. All right, that's enough out of me for today. I hope you have a great Wednesday, and I'll be back tomorrow with a post from Nia Shanks, a regular contributor, so stay tuned for that, where your optimal life awaits.
Hello, Life Optimizer. This is Justin Malik, creator and producer of this show and Optimal Living Daily, the brother podcast of this one. Literally, I'm Dr. Neil's brother. If you like the format of this show, you'll love Optimal Living Daily too, where I also read to you from blogs, but cover other topics like personal development, finance, and minimalism from bloggers like Derek Sivers, The Minimalists, Zen Habits, and many more. So for more amazing content read to you for free, come subscribe to Optimal Living Daily too, and together we'll optimize your life.
You've been listening to Optimal Health Daily. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on each new episode, and head to oldpodcast.com. That's oldpodcast.com for a free gift, as well as more actionable tips and resources to help you maximize your potential. Thanks for joining us, and remember, your optimal life awaits.